Mate Bros, good morning. Thanks for your thoughts. I want to talk about Moore's message the other day. I don't know why, but my sister-in-law sent me that poem that I posted on the chat on Sunday. She sent that to me Sunday and said, Dan, I think this was written for you. And then Moore shares his thought and pays me the compliment of not being very nice. And I appreciate that comment. But it also, it gets you thinking about the gifts we're given and the double-edged sword of the gifts we're all given. We all have gifts. This group is very gifted. And strengths can become weaknesses. And so my mouth, for whatever reason, has been moving often and always essentially since I was a kid. I used to tie my parents up in knots with words. And it's been a blessing and a curse in my life. And so I sent a little clip from Jordan Peterson. I've thought about these things. I listened to that podcast Moore sent, and it's just like everything. Life has you got to strike the right balance. I remembered a story when I was young. I think part of being someone who's fairly straightforward is just you're not that bright and you don't know how to do anything other than say what you think. And sometimes it helps and sometimes it doesn't. So this story, it's kind of sad, kind of funny. My dad thought it was funny at the time. When I was 17, my little sister, who was 15, was struggling seriously with an eating disorder. And we wanted to help her understand and work through it and be supportive. And part of that process was they took us to this like group counseling thing. And I was 17 at the time and just a brute. And we go around the circle and everybody's sharing their story and these sad stories and these problematic stories. And then they looked at me and it came to me and they're like, so what's your story? And I said, my name's Dan. And I don't have any problems. I just said, no, I'm not with this crew. And it was like the most harsh and brutal thing I could have said in that situation. I didn't think that. I was just being honest. My dad almost fell out of his chair laughing because of how stupid that was to say. But that's the one end of it. If you're too straightforward, you can cause trouble. I was honest, but I caused trouble that day, I'm sure. The other end of it is there is a power in being dead honest. My secretary told me a story in her family that she recently had a wedding, and there's always awkward stuff with weddings and families, and she had to deal with a situation where she had to tell family members something very straightforward, and she was scared to do it, but she did it. And she thought it was going to cause a bunch of problems, but it actually led to the best good for the family, for the wedding, and for the kids that were getting married. And the truth is like that. Sometimes it's painful, but it leads to the best good. So as we consider our words and the way we exchange with one another, to try to honor the truth we understand and to be loving but honest and truthful, it's a worthwhile but difficult pursuit. But I do respect people who are, I kind of call it European honest, because Europeans are more straightforward. They'll tell you look chubby if you've gained some weight. They'll tell you that they don't want to go to an American football game if they don't like American football. And they'll just say it straightforwardly. So anyway, this was kind of just me thinking out loud. More, thanks for sending that along. You guys are awesome. Love your thoughts. Have a great day out there. Love you, boys.